all, I'm Apurva. Welcome back to Videsified. In our previous videos, we talked about how to choose a semester. We also shared some tips and tricks for GRE and TOEFL. But is there something more? What makes your application selectable? Does GRE score really matter? How do universities choose their prospective students? What is the recipe of a successful application? And who is better to answer these questions than someone who has been a part of the admissions committee for last 10 years now, right? Exactly. That's why we have come here to talk to an Indian American professor to get all these questions answered and also discuss about things like scholarships, assistantships and many more. So let's get started. But before that, make sure you subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon so that you will be notified every time we upload a new video. We have with us Dr. Mangilal Agarwal. He is professor at IUPUI from Purdue School of Engineering and Technology. He has served in the Graduate Admissions Committee for multiple years. He is also our advisor at the Indian Student Association. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us today. You are always been very helpful and you're one of the coolest professors we know. So to begin with, could you please tell us briefly about your journey to US?
Oh, my journey started 20 years ago, and if I tell all the exciting moments that I had here at IUPUI and also my previous institute at Louisiana Tech, it may take a whole day. But let me make it short. When, like you all, when I was in undergraduate studies, I was preparing for my GRE, TOEFL, and looking for which universities to apply. And of course, at that time, application fee was also a factor because of the financial issues. So I was also looking into which university doesn't cost me that much to apply, to be honest. So but then I end up applying to 6 high, medium to universities, and then I got admission almost from all, because my GPA was very high and my GRE score was not that great, but it was okay for the admission. So I selected the one that had microelectronics and VLSI. So I ended up going for visa to that with that I-20, and I got the visa, came here, and my journey in US started. And I'm here as a professor at the mechanical and energy engineering after 20 years.
So, sir, coming to applications, you have served in the Graduate Admissions Committee. So we would like to know how this committee is formed and how do you proceed with the applications you get?
So basically, with respect to admissions, you apply to a university, and the first pass will be from the international office, where they will check your GRE, your TOEFL, especially TOEFL, not GRE, but especially your TOEFL or ELS. So there is a minimum score required. And if you pass that, then they will send the application to your school or to your department, where then you have your admission committee, at least 3 professors have to agree to admission. And admission can be full admission, conditional admission, depending upon the application. Now, what they look in the application, it all depends, your entire portfolio. It's not just, I got the best GRE score, but my GPA is on the other side of the scale. So they look into everything. Like generally in GRE for engineering, they look at quantitative score. If you have a decent score, that is fine. Then they will look at your GPA. So if your GPA is good, then almost they can overcome or override GRE if your GPA is really, really good. So then you may ask a question that, I am from a campus where my entire university doesn't give more than 70% in GPA. How do I benefit compared to others who are very lenient and give 90%? So that you can always make that statement in your recommendation letter from a professor at your university or your undergraduate school, or even in your statement of purpose, where you say that my GPA is in line with so much percentile. Like if you are at the 90th percentile depending upon your university, then you can mention that only 10% of the students are above this GPA at our campus or at our university. So that makes a difference. Another criteria they look at is like, okay, your GRE is okay, your GPA is okay. Then they will look at your statement of purpose, and your statement of purpose basically why you are interested. Are you going to complete your study? So the problem is they want you to be successful.
Right.
It's not that they want you to stop admission or don't give you admission, because you can get the admission if they feel that you are going to be successful in completing your graduate studies and moving forward. So that is the main criteria, that you have to showcase that you are serious
Right.
and you are going to be successful. How you can showcase that? Like if you have done academic activities during your undergraduate, not only what you did, but how you did, how did you complete it, those are the important, because I told you, right, they want to make sure that you complete your graduate studies and be successful. That is the only criteria I would say for your graduate school.
Right.
And GRE and GPA kind of defines that you don't fail, because here you have to maintain a GPA of 3.
Right.
And if you don't maintain a GPA of 3, then you automatically drop out from the graduate school,
Right.
which is not the goal of any admission committee or any school or anybody,
Right. So, sir, the SOP, LOR, they are equally important, right?
Yes,
Compared
to-
to GRE. Because there is a notion and people believe that you should score good in GRE and then you are done. So,
See, GRE, I told you, right, it's a first cut, but then if you have a good GRE score but your GPA is not good, then people may, admission committee may see that, well, he may not maintain or she may not maintain a good GPA to continue for graduate school. So that is one of the issue that they will look at your recommendation letter. How, like, it's again, it's not about what you did. It's about how you accomplished, how you finished the work, how you completed the work. If you can mention that you started here with this project, but you are able to complete within the given time frame, and what were the efforts to complete that task, that is more important. So LOR and SOP and these will showcase that interest.
so sir, is this process like same for PhDs, masters, or undergrad, or is it like different? All
No,
components are
GRE is
equally
only for
important?
graduate school.
Okay.
So either it is masters or PhD.
Okay.
Of course, PhD, then apart from GRE, they will look at what you have done in undergraduate, what projects you have done, what skill sets, especially technical skill sets you have. So these are some of the important factors if you're coming from undergraduate to a PhD program. But if you have done a master's in India and want to come for PhD here, then publications are very, very important. I'm telling you, if you have done masters and they don't see any publication, then be like, okay, this person in their graduate studies did not even do any research, so why they want to do PhD now?
Right.
So publications, presentations, they become very, very important. So you can get admission into PhD directly from undergraduate. For undergraduate admission, of course, they will look at not academic activities from your high school. They'll look at your SAT score. They'll also look at what are your extracurricular activities. What are you good in sports? Are you good in programming? Something.
Right.
So, like, apart from your academics, have you done some extracurricular activities for undergraduate? Now, undergraduate, your projects. Masters, your papers. Right?
Right,
So
makes
it goes in sequence.
Clearly, the education system over here is so different than the Indian education system. So, how do you see the difference?
Difference, if I compare myself, again, I did my undergraduate 20 years ago in India, so I don't know the current scenario, but I have seen some of the undergraduate students who have come here. I have many who are doing research. It's improving. You can say in our times we just had a syllabus and exam at the end of the semester, and some practical exams, but then if you study for those exams and get a good GPA, that's fine. Here you have to constantly work, because your GPA or your coursework is not just one exam. It's divided over the semester. You have to do assignments, so it's like distributed workload, and you have to do it every week, and if you do it sincerely, then there is no issue.
So, sir, there are some students, who want to change their stream, like when they are applying for graduate college. So, what should these people keep in mind while applying?
So, if one want to change the field, of course, it is doable. Sometimes it depends on the admission committee and the department. If you are from a different major, they may ask you to do some prerequisite, or they may ask you if you. Sometimes prerequisite could be like getting a GPA of 3 and above in your first semester. Sometimes the prerequisite could be taking a course. So it depends from department to department, school to school.
So, sir, many a times students receive scholarships with their admission letter. So, how do you decide on scholarships? Like, what are the things you see in the profile?
Scholarships, again, you can get, especially at IUPUI, you can get some tuition scholarship, and those tuition scholarships, you can write an email to the chair or graduate chair that you're truly looking for that scholarship. Basically, it is not based on your request. It's done internally, but if you request, then at least the people who are deciding have an idea of your interest,
right,
and that may help. However, the internal decision is based on ranking, and ranking is based on your GRE, GPA, and your if you have some publications, presentations,
right,
and those also helps.
So that's all we have for today. Hope this was helpful. We will continue our conversation with Dr. Mangilal Agarwal in our next video, where we will discuss about assistantships, jobs after graduation, and his advice on the current COVID situation and its impact on the fall 2020 and upcoming batches. Yesterday, ICE announced new regulations for the fall 2020 semester. We have made a detailed video explaining all these rules and regulations and how it will impact the current and incoming students. So make sure you check that out. If you have any questions, then please let us know in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.